Hi, I'm Jamie from Sandy Creek Clydesdales, and this is just a little how to do a main roll video. So to do a main roll, you're obviously going to need a main roll. So I like to use wool for my main roll. I find it to be easier to keep nice and tight, and it's also more traditional. You're going to need some sort of a step because you like to keep it up nice and high so you can keep this main roll nice and tight and on top of the crest. After you've brushed the mane out, I like to make a little bridle path or divider there where the headstall sits, because you're going to actually put the main roll across there and sit the headstall above it, on top of it, so it acts as like a little anchor. In regards to preparation of the mane, it is better if you don't condition your horse's mane like the day before or the day of. But if you have no choice in doing that, there are products like hairspray, wax, whatever, that makes it nice and grippy anyway. So don't worry too much about that. So here you can see I've got the mane roll either side of the horse's neck. And now we're going to actually start it. So to do a mane roll, you actually need 4 pieces of material, being 2 pieces of wool, 2 pieces of mane. But to start the mane roll, we start with 3 pieces. So we grab our first piece of mane right at the top of the crest. And then we cross our wool on the right hand side of that, as you can see. Then what you need is to grab another piece of mane after you've crossed that wool right next to the first piece of mane that you've originally picked up, like so. Now we can start crossing the mane as well. So now we've got our 2 pieces like that. We will cross them over the top of the wool that we've crossed. And to keep the hair nice and neat, it is helpful to pinch the mane down so it keeps nice and close to the crest and keeps the mane roll nice and tight. You can see here now is the appropriate time to also pull our wool so it's nice and tight. And then we continue. So we then cross our wool again over the top of the mane. Keeping all the other mane out of the way so it's nice and tidy. We'll cross that. I like to keep it above my hand, just that little bit. Just makes it easier for me to see what's happening underneath, so I can grab my next piece of mane nice and neatly. So there we go. So now that we've dropped that wool down, we've got our 2 pieces, and again we're going to add another piece of mane to the closest piece of mane that we've already got. So we're joining it together. There we go. And then we just carry on with that pattern. So now that we've carried on with our little pattern, we should have a nice main roll forming, and it's time to finish. So there are many ways that you can finish a main roll. This is just how I do it. I'm not a professional. This is just what works good for me. What I actually do and find best for me is that I put my 2 pieces of hair together, my mane together. That way I've only got 3 pieces of material to work with, and I just plait it down like a normal plait, like so. So I just plait down to where I think is right. His mane is basically a really good length to finish off on, so I go quite close to the edge of his mane. And then I will just do a simple knot where I'll wrap the wool around, pull it through and just cinch it off. If you can't do this knot, that's fine. I've done it before where you just get some braiding bands and you just literally tie it off that way as well. There you go. Just pull it nice and tight. And we have a mane roll. So you can see that this mane roll that I did is actually short. That's because for that day it was actually, he was being used in harness, so I like to stop it before the collar. Otherwise, I usually do it right to the base of the neck, to basically the same angle of the shoulder, because that shows the neck off nicely. That's for lead classes and such. But yeah, hope that was helpful. Any questions, let me know.